All right, so what up, YouTube? Hope you're doing all right. Decided to go ahead and do a quick review on the Fly Ignitor 2. Got these in the mail and found them online for 149 bucks, and I thought that was a pretty good deal. And so I picked up a pair. I've been looking at them for a long time. In fact, last year I actually bought a pair. I didn't really feel like they were doing what I'd like them to do. I was trying them out in 25 to 30 degree weather, and my fingers were still getting cold. Now, I can tell you I bought an extra large, because sometimes that's what my hand takes, but now I'm beginning to think that my hand's more of a large size. Do the measurement on these Fly Ignitors. They have it on the website, and it is true to what they say. If you measure for a large, get the large. This is a large with my fingertips all right up against the fingers, and my thumb is just barely right not there. And don't ask me what I measure, I forgot. But I know that whatever it says online, if you follow the instructions on how to measure your hand, palm, whatever it was, go with what it says. I tried a pair of these on when I bought them in the store last year, and the large felt too tight, and I was like, no way is that going to be good for me later on. So I went with the extra large. Of course, if your gloves are oversized, it can get really dangerous. I'm going to show you what I'm comparing these to today. These are Tour Masters. I bought these gloves probably about 5 years ago when I first started riding again. Little difference between these and these. Notice these are all leather, my Tour Masters. These have a leather palm, but there's some break-in leather and then leather fingertips. So I'm going to be talking about both these today, but I really want to concentrate on the Fly Ignitor 2 and tell you some things that other folks that I've seen reviews. Tweet did a really good review on these and really got technical and everything. You watch that if you want technical. I'm going to do real life and how I felt about these gloves after I put them on, a couple of different scenarios. I'm going to tell you about my wind setup on the, I got a Honda F6B, and how the wind, how my windshield's set up, and I think all that has a lot to do with when you review a glove. You really got to know all that stuff, you know, what bike you're on and what kind of wind protection. When I see guys going out and reviewing stuff, it's like you don't get the whole picture. So these are going to be reviewed on an F6B, all right? 30 inches across is my windshield that I currently have on there. 30 inches. I think it does help spill that wind over. If you don't know the F6B, I'm going to put a picture in here of it. But it's got the side view mirrors, and I think those really act as a great deflector, and I think Honda set that up that it keeps some cold off your hands, because my hand on this bike is nothing like the coldness that I was suffering from the Vulcan 900. Vulcan 900 is a lot worse as far as wind protection. In fact, I even put those guards in front of the handlebars and the handles. It never helped. My hands froze all the time when I got into lower degrees. I put heated grips on there. The knockoff grips don't work. I don't have heated grips, by the way, on my F6B. It's a 2013. So here's a couple things that I've done. The first time when I got these, I just got them a couple days ago, it was 50 to 54 degrees outside. It was saying the wind chill was 40, or the feel like was 44 to 49 during this 1 hour ride. And there was an 11-mile-an-hour wind. I think that has a lot to do with your comfort and this too, because I had an 11-mile-an-hour wind halfway into the ride right into me. okay? In fact, both my test rides with gloves, same thing. I mean, I was going into the wind and then coming back in the wind. This was a particularly windy day and drove that feel like down to 44. So that's what I want to concentrate on. What was the feel like on that day? So feel like 44. Started out on the 1 hour ride, put the heated gloves on low after 15 minutes. I rode 15 minutes with just the gloves. It was a partly sunny day. Again, I put the heated gloves on after about 15 minutes into the ride. Then I went probably after about 10 or 15 minutes of that, I went into the second position, and I really didn't go into the third position on a feels like 44 degrees. I'm talking 80 miles an hour. I went for an hour ride, and probably 45 minutes was at highway speeds. So they did really good. I mean, think about that. 44 feels like it did get up to 49. Oh, I'm sorry, the 49 was the real temp. I was thinking that. So it was probably sticking around that 44 the whole time. And they did really well. I'm going to get off on this for a second and talk about the battery life on this. Now, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. This, of course, you've seen this in other people's videos. This is where the batteries fit into. You got to kind of position them how you want to. I'm kind of positioning these away from the zipper. I know the zipper's for sure waterproof, but just in case, I'm making sure that this is tucked down in there a little bit. You can move this thing. It's got plenty of room for that battery. Move it anywhere you want. But these, when you plug it in, I almost felt like I was going to break it. Yeah, I've charged the batteries now, one full thing. They say leave it on overnight. I don't really understand why. If it's full, it's full. Maybe there's a trickle charge or something like that I'm not aware of. But I left it go ahead and charge. Now it says I've saw and heard 2 hours, 2.5 hours charge. Not really sure about that. I think it was a little bit longer, more like 3 to 3.5 to 4 range. But on the other side of the coin, okay, so here's the total time that I tried out in real life. I did 10 minutes trying them out, just put them on, turn them on, different settings, kind of like I just did there, but I had them on for 10 minutes to make sure that they were good gloves, and they were both heating up good, and they did equally, both of them good. So 10-minute tryout. Then I did an hour on the second button. I did 30 minutes on 1 and 2 going back and forth. And then I did 50 minutes on a ride on high, and then an hour and 20 minutes on high to burn them all the way down. Because they also always say to drain everything down, even laptops, everything, drain that battery down and then power it up again. I waited till the batteries cooled completely down and then plugged them in and charged them back up again. Again, 3 to 4 hours is what I was seeing for a full charge time. I don't really mind that, but if you're on the road and you're thinking you're going to get a full charge in a couple hours, might not be the glove for you. But again, what a great amount of time. I mean, I think that's in a real life situation kind of what you're looking for. I mean, if you can get 3, 4, 5 hours before having to charge your gloves, if you just, do an hour here, half hour there, I mean, if you can get a week of riding in without really messing with them too much, that'd be great. Commuters, no problem. These things are going to stay on. These will get you back and forth, no doubt. I mean, if you do a daily commute for 2-3 hours, I think you're going to be able to put them on high and they're going to be working out pretty good for you. So what I did, what I learned to do with these is I start when I'm riding with them. And again, I'm thinking about what if I'm on a trip and I'm in a real life situation here and I'm riding with the gloves. A lot of times guys will take that hand off and keep a hand up on their chest or down on their lap to get it warmed up a little bit. I used to do that when I used to ride and commute all the time. And that's real life. I mean, if your hands are cold, you're going to bring that hand off and just ride with one hand. If you got cruise control, I got a throttle lock, and you can switch hands up to keep them warmer. But a couple of tricks I did with these, when that finger started getting cold and cold here, and what I did when I pulled it off my bike and I just backed that out a little bit and just held it there as I'm holding it in my lap with my right hand on the handlebars, and the heating element in there, since it's not coming up, it doesn't feel like it's coming up far enough up the tips. I wish really the tips were covered. That would be great. It feels like it could be up a little bit high. Again, this finger is the only one that's off my fingers. My other fingers are right into it, so it might be okay, and that's the reason. It's just not, my finger's not extending clear to the top. I don't know. No matter what, I just held that, I just pinched this finger and I pulled it back a little bit and just let it sit there on my way back, and I noticed that finger started warming up. In my other hands, now I've got this tailwind of 9 miles an hour here. Again, 33 feels like, guys. And I got this tailwind and I put my hands back on the bike and I didn't feel any cold in my fingertips at all. The other thing I did was notice that when I kept my fingers out, stretched out a little bit and just barely curved like that on the bike, rather than have it like you would normally hold it, but holding the bike, but just kind of like that with your fingers stretched out. And I don't know what it was, but somehow how these hands pre-curved, how it just laid there, I felt warmer that way too. So a couple of tricks to maybe get your hands a little bit warmer if it's just not cutting it for you. And then the other thing I did was funny. I was thinking this wind deflection, and then you got your clutch here, okay, your clutch gear. So I took this finger and I put it right behind that clutch, and that seemed to help out, that clutch lever. So sticking that just behind there just to get a little bit more wind off there. Wow, what a cool little trick. Something people don't talk about either. I'll let you see this right here. This, and I don't use this, and I don't think you need to, but this is, I think they mentioned this on the thing. Once you get these in the right position, if you don't like flapping and you like perfection, there's a little clip here that you pull this over, this strap over, and it snugs up right inside there and keeps this really nice and so it's not flapping around you. I didn't notice any of that. If it was there, if that flapped around at all, I wouldn't notice. But that's just another little kind of nifty thing. And they also got the connections where you clip it in, you keep your gloves together, okay? These things, be careful. It's like one glove somebody had tried on or something. It took a while for this to kind of stretch out. I keep pulling them. I wanted that gauntlet. That's another thing you hear people say, that the gauntlet's too small. Guys, I got a pretty decent sized jacket. I wear a winter coat, a regular winter coat. It's not even a riding jacket. So, but look at that. I mean, you got plenty of room. I get that over my coat very nice and easy. So there you go. And you've seen all the buttons, where you go up and down. Oh, one thing I'm going to tell you about the buttons is it's not click, 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 click. Okay, it's a click and a pause, and then again, and then again. Okay. See if this, see that? I mean, it's almost like a double click. If you're riding, sometimes that can get annoying. So don't think you're going to just do it. It's almost a double click if you're clicking fast. See, I did that 6 times to basically turn them off. So just get ready for that too. Okay, not a big deal. Or a pause. Okay, so it might not be, you click and pause, click and pause, click and pause. Okay, or you do 6. To get it up to the 3, okay, the 3 lights. I don't know if you can see that going to the 3 lights. I tell you, just doing that right there, I felt heat on my hand. So these things cook up pretty quick. If they don't, you better send them back right away. Last year, I don't think my left one that I bought from the store, again, could they have been returned? How long were they there? I don't know. So anyway, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you take something away from this that'll help you. If you got any questions, put them at the bottom. Of course, likes are great, but I don't live my life by them. But yes, if you need some help on where I got these or any other questions that I didn't cover, let me know. We'll talk to you later. Bye, YouTube.